welcome back. I'm the witch.
And I'm the Jedi, coming to you from the man cave / geek den / nerd stuff.
We're not really into sports.
No.
All right, take it away.
Go Quidditch. We decided to do a Dragon Con tips, tricks, what to expect, how to prepare, that kind of thing video for those of you who are watching.
This will be our 8th year?
Yeah, we've been going since 2013.
Yes, 2013.
Except for when our other 2 kids were born.
Yeah, 2 kids of our 3 were born after we started going to Dragon Con, right. And then of course there was COVID year.
Shh, we don't talk about that.
We're gonna go with 8.
Sure.
So, and it was our first time experience was something we always wanted to go, and it was not what we were expecting, but in a good way.
Oh yeah.
So our experiences in conventions have been like Celebration and MegaCon, because we're from Florida. We've been to those conventions where there's hotels, but that really wasn't a big deal. Everybody congregated really at the convention hall, and then the vendor floor. The show floor was like the place to be seen while you shopped. We didn't really know what to expect. So we ended up going to Dragon Con, and one of our good friends, Laura, hi Laura, so she came with us too, and it was the 3 of us in our first time. And wow.
It blows you away. I mean, once you've gone to Dragon Con, no other convention will ever be quite the same.
I don't think we haven't been to any cons since then. We did go to MegaCon.
No, we've been to MegaCon.
And we went to Tampa Bay Comic Con.
And Ocala Comic Con. We have not been to something like San Diego Comic Con or New York Comic Con or any of those big conventions with a lot of money. Throw all these new shows at you and have all these massive A-list actors there.
It's like a media push where they're trying to promote the next Marvel film, DC film, Disney film. They do that at San Diego Comic Con, and a lot of studios, they support that. This is their time to shine, and they all try to fight to rent out Hall H. Dragon Con to us, for the fans, by the fans. And I can't stress that enough, that you're not going to see corporate backing this up. They will know about Dragon Con. They are thumbs up to Dragon Con, but they aren't major sponsors in Dragon Con. Dragon Con and the management and all those brains that pull the strings as puppeteers have done a hell of an amazing job. In our experience, it's always been seamless. They handle crowd control well. They always seem to have the right people, the right players in the right places to be able to herd cats. Because let's face it, we're all children of ADD, and ooh, something shiny, ooh, something sparkly, oh, look, a lightsaber. We all act like that. And for them to be able to control people on Peachtree City, Peachtree Square, Peachtree Circle, any of the peach trees, and and then be able to do this and that, hold the line up, let 85,000 people pass, and then keep the line going, not to mention how to clear a room, fill a room, be handicap accessible. They have done a great job promoting this, again, by the fans, for the fans.
And we're talking 70,000 plus people over 4 days. However, there are people who get there days before the con and stay days after the con as well. There's that race, who's the first cosplayer in the Marriott? They're probably already there.
Yeah,
and we're 53 days out from the con as of this recording. At the time
of this recording, and I can probably say that the first person that will be in cosplay will be that stormtrooper who's always at the bar. I don't know who you are, but
props to you, man.
Yes. So, what is the feeling of Dragon Con? What is Dragon Con? Well, it's nerdy girl for one thing, but for the 2 of us, it's a kind of place where you're always accepted. Like, it's absolutely fine for Star Trek and Star Wars cohabitate peacefully. It's just that feeling of always being accepted. You know, I'm sure many of you were always kind of picked on or were ridiculed about something that you found fascinating. Whatever that may be.
There's a whole gaming area for tabletop, card, LARPing, video games as well.
And just like you can kind of belly up to the bar at any random bar and just sit down and have a drink with a stranger, that's how gaming is. That's how gaming is. You can go and sit down and play with a bunch of strangers, and you guys will be best friends within 8 or 9 hours, however long your campaign is. Look at that, I knew what a campaign is.
Nice. She doesn't really play D&D or anything like that.
I don't know, but it's cool.
I mean, the thing about Dragon Con is, for us as parents to 3 children under the age of 12,
11.
It's fighting tooth and nail. It's a place for us to go and just be silly.
Nander finds virgin blood at Dragon Con.
Plan all your moves in advance. Stay dead, stay dead, stay dead, stay dead.
Stupid people without having to worry about the children that we leave with relatives when we go there. And then we spend 4 to 5 days with good friends who travel from other parts of the country. And it's just that time we can just forget about having to be a parent for a couple of days and just dive back into that thing that made you happy when you were younger. For me, it's Star Wars. Anything 80s, sci-fi, fantasy, pop culture, anything like that. And she is more a child of the 90s when it comes to that sort of thing. Yeah, it's just a great place to go and just be stupid.
Be silly, laugh.
And people from all different walks of life go there. You've got doctors and lawyers, and you've got blue-collar workers, and you've got high schoolers and college kids. Straight on to people who are in their 70s and 80s that go there. Just to have fun. And you rarely hear about any kind of fights, any kind of confrontations between the factions of people.
If they happen, they're really well covered up.
Right.
Really
so
well
maybe
covered.
they do. We don't know.
Again, great job, Dragon Con PR.
That's right. But I mean, it just, you can go there and it's like, man, if the rest of the world operated like a Dragon Con does, there would be no wars, there would be peace everywhere.
We've said that for a while.
We've said that for a while.
The people we con with have been pretty solid for the last few years. We've got our good friends in Texas and our good friends that come from Las Vegas now. And, we have a couple of couples in there and some singles in there, and we all seem to get along. We all either come together and then we all just kind of enjoy each other's company. We either go our separate ways, but it's really low maintenance. It's no drama with our group. Yeah, don't bring any drama. Again, if you want to go alone. You will make friends.
Absolutely. We've got there before the other people did, and we're just kind of wandering around, and like several times we've just befriended somebody who was also by themselves for a couple hours before their group showed up, and we hung out. The hell, the dude came to our room and chilled with us for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the guy's name.
But if you're watching, hey,
thanks. But yeah, I mean, you can instantaneously make friends there because there's going to be someone who likes the same fandom as you do, and that you're in to start talking to them. Especially like you're waiting in line for a panel to see whoever, and you're dressed as something from the show, and that person is dressed as something. You got something in common already.
Absolutely.
So you say, hey man, like your cosplay, blah, 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 let's talk about the show. And then it segues into, hey, you want to grab something at the food mart or whatever, So, yeah.
And also,
don't worry about going by yourself.
When it comes to lunch, like if you're eating and stuff like that, it's totally okay, at least in our experience, to have, if somebody didn't have it's kind of like going to the cafeteria and you see the poor kid that's sitting by himself. Bring them in, join them. Yeah. I mean, you're going to probably befriend them for about 15 minutes and then go your separate ways, but at least you made somebody smile. I mean, very rarely have I seen anybody at Dragon Con that wasn't smiling.
Right.
And if they weren't smiling, it's because they probably had too much apple pie and they have regrets.
Again, you can enjoy Dragon Con sober, or you can enjoy Dragon Con not sober. Either way, you don't have to drink.
We tend to find the happy medium, so you do you, boo.
That's right.
All right, so we had a list in no particular order, with no priority. We're just going to start rambling off some suggestions and some ideas, some stories, and some tips that we've had. So
the first thing obviously we need to cover is memberships. All right, memberships is like getting your ticket to the con. Right? They call it a membership. It's registration, and the prices change from the end of one con to the start of another con.
So if you want to save money, get it the day after con ends for the following year, because it's going to happen and you're going to get your cheapest price to go.
Yeah. So right now with 53 days out, the current price is $175 for the 4-day convention. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and there's a Monday too. So
everybody forgets Monday.
Everybody forgets Monday. That's like the best day to go is Monday.
No, it's not. But Monday's our shopping day.
It is.
Although I will say, in our experience, one of our favorite panels that we went to, yes, we do panels. We hit the parties. He doesn't like the parties, but he comes because I like them too. He likes the people watch.
I can people watch.
Out of the parties, and then during the day we do hit some of the panels that we find interesting because we're nerds. But that's not, if we get up and we miss it, no big deal, unless it's a celebrity we want to see. So back to Monday. One of my favorite panels that we went to on Monday was Jason Isaacs, Lucius Malfoy from Harry Potter, or
Tabington from The Patriot.
Yes, and his talk was so good. He was funny, he was charming, he was on a Monday, and the room was still pretty full, but the way he handled it was just, it was nice. And I remember talking, I'm going, oh my God, he's here on a Monday. Like, I was like shocked that he had made it all the way to Monday. Usually the bigger celebrities, they peter off on Sunday and they're done. But there are some celebrities on Monday, and he was probably one of my favorites. Oh,
you know, you don't know how much they're putting on for the audience there. However, during his panel, he took a phone call from his daughter. Now that sounds like it'd be rude, but he made a bit thing out of it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And so he's like, "Yeah, I'm at the con. I'm doing a hey, say hi, everyone." Yeah. To his daughter, he made this like 5-minute bit, taking the call from his daughter, which I assume actually happened, and it wasn't just a planned thing.
Right.
But,
it was good.
Well done.
Another Monday that we went to was Chris Rankin, also from the Harry Potter series. He played Percy Weasley. So we always tend to wave, and he may not know who we are exactly, but he does acknowledge us when we see him. But he was another Monday guy. Actually, I think we went to his panel Saturday and Monday.
Let's say he recognizes us.
Yeah, and I brought him booze, so he definitely remembered that.
Right.
We generally save Monday for either casual cosplay or no cosplay, and whatever who's still hanging around. And Monday's very depressing too.
It's sad. People are packing up and leaving.
It is.
And that sucks. But let's not talk about that. That's way in the future from now.
Right. So back to, what was the first thing? Oh,
memberships. Yeah.
Memberships are, people say, well, how much is it? How do I register for the convention? Your registration is a membership. They consider everybody a member of Dragon Con. So every year you have to buy a membership, which is just a registration for the con. Compared to what it is, like he said, it's $175 right now. It was $85 at the start. So how much is it worth to you?
Yeah, it definitely increases as you go. And they used to send you little blue cards.
Yeah.
And there's even a cult of the blue card.
That got you excited.
It did. You get it in the mail.
Yeah.
But now it's all through your phone and email.
Another thing about registrations, they cannot be transferred. So you're in, you're all in. If you buy it, there's no refunds, no transfers, nada. But at least get a really cool memory of, I once was going to go.
And they do have lifetime memberships too.
Yeah.
Which are, of course, thousands of dollars. But,
yeah.
I mean, hell, if there's something you're going to do forever, go for it.
Yeah.
Buy a lifetime membership. It will save you money in the long run.
In the bigger picture, yes.
Yeah. I'm getting there. Yeah, so...
you didn't talk about rooms.
Well...
You skipped it.
Okay, but let you talk about rooms.
Oh, okay, so... What we talked about this being a different convention than other conventions is that where other conventions, like I said, the heart of it is on the vendor floor, and then all the stuff happens around it and nobody even thinks about what hotel you're staying at. This is the reverse. What hotel you're in. There are 5 hotels and of the major chains. We've got the Hyatt, the Hilton, the Marriott, and the Westin. Now, it was the Sheraton, but up until a week ago, it now flipped its cards and it's now a Wyndham. So this is new to everybody. But generally, it took over 5 hotels. And in every spare room, and when I mean that, I mean convention room, meeting room, is filled with something Dragon Con-ish. Dragon Con-y. It is, every room is doing something. And you'll be able to see a schedule for that. We'll talk about that later. And in those 5 hotels, people live there for 5 or 6 days. So, oh, where are you? I'm in the Westin. Oh, you're Westin people. Where are you? Marriott. Oh, you're Marriott people. Nobody cares really where you're staying. We don't care. Because we are the black sheep and we stay right off property in an Airbnb. Oh, there's highs and lows about that.
There have been people who have showed up at Day of Con and their room has been canceled without them knowing about it. But so far, fingers crossed, we have had not had a problem with any of the Airbnbs that we've stayed in.
No.
But we've also stayed in off-site hotels. We stayed at the Indigo one time.
Holiday Inn. Courtyard Marriott. Residence Inn. We've stayed at all of those. Those are within walking distance to the brain of the hotels.
And there's plenty of cosplayers staying in those hotels over there too.
Now, they have the 5 main con hotels that Dragon Con utilizes. And then they partner up with the off-site hotels, and that's going to be your Holiday Inns, your Hyatt Place, your Fairfield Inn Residence, and everything. They're the hotels that are also within the bubble. They have shuttles. They have shuttles that you can pick up right outside your hotel, and they'll bus you in. Check your times because they don't run 24 hours. And the shuttles are because, let's face it, Atlanta isn't known for their safety. However, during Dragon Con, they do up the security, so you'll see a police presence where you want to see them. But you know what? You can't protect everybody. Protect yourself. Bring a friend. Never walk alone.
Just be aware.
Yes, be aware of your surroundings, just like you would maybe in your own hometown.
Now there are pros and cons to staying in the host hotel, or staying off-site. Host hotel, obviously, you're right there in the middle of the action. The main host hotel is the Marriott. That's where most stuff goes down. It's also the hotel that's the loudest, and loudest 24/7, and the most people. So if you want to get to your room happens to be on the 135th floor, and you're taking an elevator, it's going to take you 45 minutes to get to your room, right?
Because it's going to stop at every single floor.
As you go.
And the elevators are going to be packed, and they're full. And so, but hey, you're in a host hotel. The only host hotel we've stayed at was the Westin, and it is not connected. I will say that the Hyatt, the Hilton, and the Marriott are connected by something they call the habit trails. They're really sky bridges that kind of attach them, and when you're walking on them, stay in the right lane. Do not stop. You'll see. There's notes along the passageway. And
no Pokemon Go.
No. Remember that? Now it's no, like, Wizard Unite.
Yeah, something like that.
So, and I've gone enough. He absolutely checks his brain. He does not know where anything is. So he uses me as his emotional support guide dog when we're going through the habit trails. I know what hotel bumpers the other one and so on. So off those 3 major hotels, you've got the other host hotels, and it's the Sheraton, now the Wyndham, and the Westin. And we've stayed at the Westin, and our elevator situation wasn't bad.
It wasn't. We were like on, what floor were we on?
50th-ish.
Yeah, something like that. So we had to go up pretty high. And the only thing about it is your ears popped going up.
Popped, yeah.
But the room was fine. It wasn't as big as the place we're staying now, obviously. And generally speaking, people who go to Dragon Con will have more than just themselves and probably more than just one other person in their room. And we stayed at some little hotel. No, we stayed at some little hotel where it was the smallest room.
Holiday Inn Express. 5
of us in that room. Thank God there wasn't more. One of our people, she comes in and from Texas, and she stays with us. And we bring a cot for her in rooms that don't have beds, and literally the cot was touching the foot of the bed and the wall.
So sorry.
At the end of the thing, you had to crawl over the bed to get to. So it was a really tiny room.
It was
so
cheap,
just be mindful. It was inexpensive,
but it wasn't comfortable.
It was fun.
It included breakfast.
But the Indigo was the best.
There were 5 of us in that one too.
It had been freshly renovated. The shower was awesome. Anyway, we digress. So rooms, just make sure you book whatever you need early. The host hotel rooms is called the Hunger Games because they will open up a slot of rooms and they're gone like that.
And people, it's not our world. The first couple years I participated in the Hunger Games, it was just so much stress. I'm like, why? Because come to find out, plans change, and not everybody who participated in the Hunger Games the year before are still able to go. Life happens, steps in, they have to cancel the room, so what do? Well, there are Facebook groups devoted just to swapping rooms, trading rooms, giving up rooms, transferring rooms, and that's between you and the other person. And it's there are moderators in there as well. Whatever happens is not their responsibility. Their job really is just to make sure that the same posts aren't repeated and things are pretty organized. So if you're not sure, look on the Facebook, and there's Room Shares Dragon Con, and there's different groups. So, but at your own risk. So, but you'll see people are saying, oh, I have a king at the Marriott, we'll swap for 2 queens at the Westin. That's how they talk. So I know for sure that if you did not get a room during the Hunger Games and you want to wait it out a month before Dragon Con, you'll probably get lucky and get one of those rooms. So
But don't count on that.
I would. Again, I don't tell him everything when I do, so.
What?
So when we've got.
Let's start going, right?
So this year, we have 7 in our group, and we could get 2 hotel rooms, and then split the costs, which is fine, but we found it more economical and more comfortable by finding an Airbnb that was able to sleep 8, and it is right across from the Hyatt at the Peachtree Towers. So we're really comfortable there.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, as far as splitting the rooms into just 2 separate rooms, half the fun of Dragon Con is chilling with these people.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Definitely.
I mean, you want to be in the same room with these people 24/7, you know, unless you're out doing something around the convention.
We've got tons of memories while we're just last year. Last year,
Being in the room,
there were 9 of us in our room, and 2 of the people that came, it was their first Dragon Con, so it was fun to kind of see what they were experiencing. You know, they had a ton of questions before it happened, and people that had not met in our group, in our coven, in our nest, because we all cosplayed vampires.
Yes.
we got along great. We even all pitched in into a budget for food, and we had food 24 hours. We had snacks, we had drinks, we had water, we had soda, we had some booze. We had home cooked meals that it was kind of like, oh, you know.
And mindful, this isn't a room with a kitchen.
Yeah, this is a room for a full kitchen, whereas if we got 2 hotel rooms and actually paid either the same or more, you would not have that luxury. You're going to look at extra costs going out.
Yeah.
You can only refrigerate so many snacks.
That's right.
And
it will get expensive.
Yeah. So
Eating out every.
And if you're on a budget and you still want to have a good time, this was the best way to go. And you know what? What more fun is it than sharing a drink and a meal with your friends?
Like I said, just draw some blood dribble on your face or something.
So we had a good time last year. Plus, have you ever been in any kind of room where there's 9 people dressed like vampires trying to get dressed?
Need to practice.
Generic
Generic European accent.
It's funny. It's funny.
Weird is funny.
I mean, things you heard in there. It's like, where's my fix-it-end? My fangs keep coming out.
Oh man, can you fix my wig?
Just put blood on it. It's fine.
It's fine. So getting to Dragon Con, I assume most people who go to Dragon Con.
Video.
Getting to Dragon Con, so obviously most people who go to Dragon Con do not live in Atlanta. So they come in, either they drive or they fly. Driving. Just be mindful, driving in downtown Atlanta during Dragon Con can be tricky. Because obviously a lot of people in town for the convention, but there's also other things that are going on in that weekend as well. Maybe stressful driving.
Will be stressful.
Downtown Atlanta.
Guarantee it.
Plus parking is at a premium and hard to come by unless you, and even hotels will charge you to park in their parking lot if you have a room there.
Do your research from where you're going to park your car. There are places, I'll just park downtown, and I'll park at the hotel.
Yeah.
I will advise most of these hotels are between $30 and $35 per night.
Yeah.
And if you plan on staying there 5 or 6 nights, you're looking at kind of a pricey ticket. There are places a little bit smaller within that perimeter of walking distance that are probably half that price, but you have to consider how safe is it to leave your vehicle there.
Right.
It's almost every year there seems to be a string on Facebook that talks about, there was a string of break-ins, their car was broken into, and do you really want to leave Dragon Con with dealing with that?
Right. Now, a small percentage of people will have that happen to them, but it's always a possibility, so just be mindful.
Do you want to
Are you chancing it to do that?
Right.
So, I mean, there are parking garages, but those are expensive and they'll fill up too. As well as maybe the security might not be the greatest there either.
The way we do it, I know some people have parked at the MARTA. They've parked at a couple of stations. You have to look it up. I'm sure I don't have that, but there are at least 2 stations that the MARTA has where it's like $5 a night, and then you just take the MARTA in. So parking at the MARTA, and it's relatively safe. So check that out. I think that's more on the north side of Atlanta. What we do, because we live south of Atlanta, we do live in Georgia now. We are from Florida, but we've relocated to Georgia in this Atlanta area for like the last 3 years. We now take the MARTA from the airport. Even though we live here, we park at the airport. There are several companies around there that always have space. You don't have to worry about them filling up. Even for Labor Day, you can get in. And it's cheaper than what you're going to pay downtown. Generally, it is safer. You're going to have 24-hour security, and there's a shuttle to the airport, and then from the airport, you take the MARTA. And it is $5 to take the MARTA to exactly where you need to go in the heart of Dragon Con. And you can leave your car there, knowing that it's safe and protected as if you were on a flight somewhere.
I mean, literally, the MARTA will drop you off. You come up out of the ground, and boop, there's all the host hotels. So,
and that is the Peachtree. Peachtree Center is the stop you want to get off for Dragon Con. And it's walking distance to the Hyatt and food court and everything, but that is your stop.
It's right by the Indigo.
Here we go again. And
Love
CVS.
And CVS.
So, safe travels. What do you want to talk about next, Dean?
All right, so when you get to the convention on your first day, whatever day that may be, you will need to pick up your badge. They do not mail badges to you where you live, so you have to pick it up there. That can be an experience in and of itself. It was in the Sheraton, now the Wyndham Hotel. That's where it will still be.
We're assuming.
And that's where all these other services, if you want to participate in the parade, if you need any kind of disability services and all of that is located in that hotel. And obviously it's also have rooms there, and that tends to be a quieter hotel. For those of you who are looking for a host hotel that won't be as loud as the Marriott. So you go there, and the first year we went there, the line to get your badge wrapped around what was then the Sheraton twice to get inside.
Now
and then there's a line inside too.
Yeah, we mocked the people. Oh, look at all those guys still in line. We ran into them because they were the end of where we started.
Yeah. This was like, we are your future. So but yeah, so but that being said, the line does move fairly quickly. They've got a lot of people dealing with check-in and and multiple lines. And
you're looking at least 30, 40 minutes. At least 30 minutes. From the time you get in line to get your badge on the longest day of our experience.
Right.
And we generally get there about Thursday morning, afternoon. Yeah. The first day of the convention is when we go.
We generally get our badges around 1.
Can you pick up badges for other people? The answer is yes, you can. You need to get a copy of your friend's driver's license and a signed note from them allowing you to pick it up in their name. And we've done that before for other friends that were getting in really late and they wanted to go to panels the next morning. So just keep in mind.
When you pick up your badge, they'll give you an option for a lanyard. And those are always fun. They're some Dragon Con themed lanyard. And then you will pick up your schedule book and a souvenir program. The schedule, you can get it either written out, but they also now have the app for your phone. And the app is the best thing for finding where you need to go, what panels you want to go to, who's coming there that you want to see.
So take the time now, right now, pause this video after you subscribe, pause this video and go and download the app right now. If you download now, you're going to get last year's information in there. You'll punch in 2022 will come up. But at least you can get an idea of some of the stuff they had available and your mind will be blown. So they generally, about 3 weeks before con, will load up 2023's stuff. And it is so fun to play.
3, maybe 2 weeks out, something like that.
Everybody up until, everybody right now is going, when is the app going to be updated? In fact, a month after Dragon Con ends, people are already joking, going, is the app updated for the next year? It's like a whole thing.
Yeah. There's also a Discord server thingy. We don't Discord, but
we don't Discord.
That's also
right, Grandpa.
Yeah, shut up. But it's also a Dragon Con group on there that can talk about stuff. Because I watched the other Dragon Con videos. Dragon Con Report is a good one to watch.
I don't even know you.
Oh man! So definitely download the app into your phone, and it's great. And you can sit there and you can say, "This is my schedule." So, ooh, look, they're having a 50 Years of Stranger Things panel on Saturday at 9 a.m. I'm gonna star that. And be like looking, oh,
you're never gonna make it because it's 9 a.m.
There's Gil Gerard teaching yoga at 8:30 on Saturday. I'm gonna star that, and then it's like, you already have a panel on at 9 o'clock. But I mean, so the app, like, when you put that all together, and it tells you where your next panel is going to be, if you have a conflict with one or the other, and that's great. And then you can look back on the panels you didn't make because you were sleeping because you were out too late the night before. So those 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock panels, 1 or 2, you're probably not going to make. But at least you were ambitious and marked it as something you might want to see.
Fun about those things is that after you load up your app with all the potential and hopeful things you want to make, you can go, hey, what's your friend code?
Oh,
so
here's my friend code.
So my husband,
54621.
I'll put in 5461 on my phone and I'll be like, bing, and we will connect each other. So now I can spy and see where he's going to be, or
where they're not going to be because they're sleeping.
And so on and so forth and what have you with the rest of your coven.
That's
or
right.
nest or troopers. You guys can all sync each other up when you offer your friend code, and you guys can see and combine schedules. Oh, you want to go hang out? I don't have anything. No, we got.
Hey, that guy from Warehouse 13 is like.
Oh, he's doing a chit chat talk back. I gotta go see that. Or we can go to the boys panel and he can go hit on the chick that was in the boys panel.
It was one time.
Oh my God! Let me tell you, he waited in line.
Karen Fukuhara is.
No, I'm gonna put this in the video. What's her name?
Never you mind.
Okay. Her.
Karen and I have a secret list.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
She doesn't even know. But he waited in line to ask an important question. But he added a question on top of his question to ask this question. But it was a compliment.
It wasn't a question. It was a compliment.
Yeah, it was. I just want to tell you, Karen, that you have a way of saying so much without saying so much. The character is a mute.
Mute. She doesn't speak.
And wow, tears.
Moving on. So.
And I'm in the back going, what a crock of shit. Oh, and then another time.
What?
Another time we waited for questions, and we were in the Sleepy Hollow panel. This is cool. And they had and Tom Meissen, who was the very attractive man that played Ichabod Crane.
I ain't gonna lie. He's attractive.
He is. And he cosplayed as Ichabod for the show when that show was popular.
So handsome, just like him.
Yes. So at the time, Tom Meissen had told the panel that somebody said, oh my God, you look like a sexy Jesus. That stunned the room. Oh my God. Even he was like, whoa, wow. I mean, the whole room erupted. So well done on that comment. So 5-10 minutes goes by. Dean's been in line to go ask a question. And this is pretty new to him. Tom Meissen kind of to look and and Dean responds, yes, I'm dressed like you. And Tom Meissen actually called Dean, oh my God, you look like a sexy Jesus. That was so cool. That was awesome. So one of those moments. So although we like to bring up the boys thing, not as cool.
It was cool for me. So it's around panels, might as well just say, in the panels, depending on which show it is, which celebrity guest it may be, the line may be easy to get into.
Right.
It may be impossible to get into.
Yes.
It may be you're sitting outside for 2 to 3 hours to get into the panel. All right. And now the bigger guests are going to put in the bigger rooms.
Yeah.
All right. But expect to wait a while for someone like William Shatner or who were the biggers that were coming this year? Who did we say was going to be? Well, George Takei is coming this year.
They're not going to get Hollywood A-listers just because they're busy, just because they're filming. And, especially if they're Hollywood listers, they're going to be booked solid back to back to back to back. And a small little break that they might have over Labor Day, to be honest, they might want to sleep. They might want to do their own thing with their own family because they have been nonstop working. But we have been lucky on several occasions to have some excellent talent. Again, I go back to Jason Isaacs. Hello. Yeah. Hello.
So you could be waiting a while to get in, either inside or even outside. So, and it's Atlanta in August and beginning of September. It's hot.
Yeah.
But you can get into the panel, generally speaking. They won't close it out really unless it's beyond the fire marshal rule.
Right.
So they do have people standing.
Mm-hmm.
And they will tape most of the panels, and they'll have the screens up in those bigger rooms where you can see up close who's on the stage, maybe a long way away from where you are. But then they open it up for questions, and they'll generally have 2 different lines for you to line up to ask your question. And something for me, I've always been kind of like just a little nervous to go up and talk to anybody like that. But don't be afraid. Just go out there and, you know, if it's a reasonable question, don't say something stupid or ask a dumb question. Go out there, you can give them a compliment, you can ask them something, you know, about their character, something about, you know, something they did during filming or whatever. My question I had was, did you film anything about being a fish out of water that was never used in the show? Because it's about Ichabod Crane who wakes up in modern day after having perished in the 1700s.
They do suggest that when you do ask your questions, it's kind of an insult to actors if you say, "Hey, Tom Meissen, what was it like working with so-and-so?"
Yeah, that's tacky.
It's kind of tacky. So have a question that's, one of our questions I think we asked about the boys was about their audition process.
I can't remember because I was flirting with Karen Fukuhara.
Exactly. So maybe in another panel, we had asked them what the audition process was for that. So, and those are questions that, oh, well, you actually want to know about my experience. That's fantastic. Instead of talking about the character that I'm playing and all about that character, you're actually talking about me. And so just have hearty questions to consider because you're going to get more out of it better with your interactions.
That's right. And of course, at the convention, there is also a room devoted to the celebrities for autograph signings and selfie photos.
At other big conventions, they usually put them against the wall. And then the lines come out from the wall, and sometimes they're in a crazy zigzag and stuff like that. They actually do it a little bit more crowd friendly, and the way they do it, well, they have a room, like one of those big ballrooms, and they do have them in a circle around the exterior of inside the ballroom.
We call it People Aquarium?
We do. We call it the People Aquarium because you can walk by and look at all the fishy people. No. But they have them all around that wall. It's not big and intimidating. And so if you know, you want to, and they also have them in the center part so that they kind of face each other. So it's kind of like, you're just kind of walking through. It's almost kind of like going to the, like the Pound, and you go down the middle lane, and you're looking at all the dogs on both sides, just sitting there waiting, totally hopeful. But in this case, sometimes the celebrities are there, they come and go. They actually call that room the Walk of Fame. So you can walk in and you go to the right because they keep all the traffic flowing. They'll have their table there, they'll have a handler there, and they'll have their kind of poster behind them with their name and some of the pictures from stills from the show. And then it might tell them when they're going to be at the table or not, because generally they're not going to be there all day. They're not going to wait for you to come up to them.
Plus they have pianos to do and food to eat and sleep to have.
All of that.
So, right.
So,
but they're particularly, obviously you can't take pictures inside there unless you're paying for the selfie with.
So no cameras.
So you can't video or do still photography in there. They don't want you loitering in there. All right, especially at peak times of the day. They're letting people in as people leave. You know, obviously it's open to like 6 p.m. and not every celebrity is there till 6 p.m. but it's open to 6 p.m. So the later in the day, the easier it is for you to get in there. But don't loiter in there. And there's one way. I want you to move this way because you go in here, around, and then go out that door. Now, that means you can't do 2 circuits through or whatever. But
we often do.
Yeah. And if you see a celebrity there that you admire, you know, and there is no line for them, you don't feel like paying them for an autograph or paying them for a selfie, but you want to pay them a compliment or something like that, go up to them and say, "Hey man, I really love your work, you know, your show, I grew up on it and it was amazing, it changed my life forever." Whatever. You know, they like hearing that. Let's face it, if a celebrity is doing a convention like this, 9 times out of 10, they like the feedback. They like people to tell them how much they love them. All right? Yeah, I've done that with Gil Gerard, Buck Rogers from the 70s.
Mark Singer.
Well, the Mark Singer, Jane Badler thing was really cool.
They're from V.
V. Well, Mark Singer was in a couple other things too, but anyway, yeah, I was dressed as a visitor resistance 5th column fighter guy, and I made these little. If you've never watched the show, you won't understand a bit of this, so just fast forward. But I made these. You don't have any V behind you. I don't. I made this red dust. Well, it's on the wall, but I made these red dust vials, which was this substance that killed the evil visitors. And I showed up, and Mark Singer is sitting next to Jane Badler there.
And they had nobody at their table.
No one at the table. So I went up there and I, you know, in character, you know, like, "I've got something for you, Diana," you know, and this was the character that she played, and she was one of the evil aliens, and she played along, and so did Mark, and it was awesome. And then of course we broke out of that business and just talking about what great, you know, thanks for coming. And she lives like in Australia or something now, so she made the trek to get here. But it was an anniversary, like a 40th anniversary of V. So the point is, go talk to these people if they're sitting by themselves.
And you can kind of feel the tone. They might be there like, if you're not going to pay me, I'm not going to give you the time of day.
Right.
And that's fine. To each his own. They're there to, you know, they have bills to pay too.
Sure.
And they're there between gigs, between jobs. So just, you know, be respectful and everything. And in some, I mean, our interactions with them in passing have been positive.
Yeah.
I can't speak for others. But, you know.
I'm sure there's nightmare stories, but.
Sure.
You know.
But we're not here to share those.
No.
But I will say, we did have a moment. And this kind of jumps ahead. But at the time, Carol Spinney was there. And if you're a child that grew up on Sesame Street, Carol Spinney was Big Bird. And I remember seeing him, and it was just one of those things that was like, oh, like, and he could relate to, because even though we have an age gap or whatever, we still grew up on Sesame Street. And we're forcing our kids to watch Sesame Street as too.
That same year, Bob and Luis were there too,
Yeah.
and both of them have passed away now as well.
Yeah,
So,
and we
okay,
did see Carol got in the car. Fast forwarding though to when we were getting ready for the parade, and we'll talk about that later. But when we're getting the parade, I think Carol Spinney, he was getting in the vehicle, and then the other two were getting in their cars. I remember somebody screaming out, because we're lining up to get into our shuttle to get to the starting part of the parade, while all the celebrities are getting into their cars that they were going to be sitting in to wave in the parade. So here you are, the group of fans that are just watching people of their childhood. And I remember somebody screaming out, "Thanks for being a part of my childhood!"
I think I did that, or you did that. One of us did it.
And they turned and just waved, and like the energy, and everybody was like, "Yay!" clapping and excited. And I think that was probably Carol Spinney's last Dragon Con. It could have been last appearance. So he wasn't doing well at the time. He was weak. So, but it was nice that we had that proper send off.
Sure.
But talk about Cyclops.
What the hell are you talking about?
Not Cyclops. Cyborg.
Oh, really different. Cyclops and Cyborg are really different.
I can edit that out.
I hope so.
All right. Hey.
So also in the Hall of Fame, also one of the other interactions we had was, if you watched a show called Doom Patrol. Very good, very strange. Usually at the end of it, we're like, what just happened here? But
because we
really
didn't read the comics at all, but we like the actors that were
yeah, and just the artistry is just amazing. Anyway, the gentleman who played Cyborg in that show, it's just really simple to talk to.
He was
And
actually passing. He was kind of walking without a handle.
it was talking to someone else in the show, and they're like, "Hey man, we love it and everything."
It was Diana.
And we were talking to him about, my son, he's an actor too. Oh, Mel, tell him to keep up the work. And, I auditioned 400 times before I got the part of Cyclops.
400 times before he got...
Cyborg.
400 times before
yeah.
he got booked for Cyborg. That's a big deal. And here he is at Dragon Con and other conventions too, signing autographs. But it was just nice. Oh, I had a really great conversation. Our son is also actually Dean, and all of our 3 children are represented here in Atlanta by a talent agent. So they have gone up for auditions for big TV shows that are here in Atlanta filming. Anyway, so they have all the agents and stuff like that. And our son is, he's a preteen. And he is the same age that Chandler Riggs was when he got booked on The Walking Dead. Chandler Riggs is Carl. And at the time, I went around and Dean was dressed like Negan, and he was going to get a picture with Carl. Well, he wasn't at his table because he was at a panel. But his handler, also his mother, was there. And she's also an actress and a real estate agent up in the Marietta area. But we had a nice little chit chat and everything like that. And at the time, she and Dean were both represented by the same talent agent in Atlanta as well. But we just had a nice chit chat, not about the entertainment business, more about our sons, because now that Chandler is all grown, now he's an adult and he lives here in California, and he has an agent here in California, so he's moved on to bigger projects. But talking to his mother, it was kind of luck of the draw. So the way he got that part, she says him, filming that audition in their living room, they had no idea that their life was going to change once he got booked. But again, it's 1 in a million that are going to get a show like that. But anyway, we had a good heart to heart, and we shared our stories of, you know, the mother. We want our son to be supported and just give them love. And, you know, rejection's hard. The entertainment business is hard. And he will be one to agree that, you know, you put yourself up there for rejection. And it hurts. So anyway, I talked to Chandler Riggs' mom for about 20 minutes about both being a mom of an actor and then the acting business itself, and well done for her son, Chandler.
Yeah. So I think the point of all this is that feel free to say something to these people. That's why they're there, to meet the fans, to talk to the fans. Be respectful of those who are wanting to pay for an autograph or a photo. If you're talking with this person, step out of the way. Maybe in your conversation with that actor, tell them, thank you for speaking with me, thank you, and walk away. They will talk to you. Obviously, you're a person, they're a person, they're going to talk with you. But if this person is wanting to have the experience with them and then also get an autograph and a picture signed, let them go first. That's their thing. And they will do selfies at the table as well. And the selfies tend to be less money than the photo ops that you can also purchase through Froggy. Was it Froggy Photos? Are they still doing that?
No, it's a different company.
Different place now? Okay, scratch that. But there's you can pay for a photo op with these actors at certain times of the day. And it's, listen, in my experience, all right, that's great to put a picture on your wall. All right, because what they do is you wait. All right, next. Thank you. And then you're out. All right. Yeah. So there's no time to talk with the people there. They may want to, but the job of the photographer and the handlers there are to get as many people through as possible. Right? Because one, they're scheduled to come through at that time. All right. And two, they want to make more money. Right? So you will not have time to chat with the celebrity here. At their table, you will have time to chat with the celebrity. Maybe share a memory with them or something like that. So, you know, as nice as that photo is to have on the wall, and we've done that with Tom Misen and with Harvey Guillen from What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows.
But we've also taken selfies there, and it's a little bit...
It's more intimate if you're doing a selfie, especially. Yes, it sounds kind of cheesy. Can I get a selfie and I pay and whatever, that's fine. But you know what? They're there, and they are getting paid to be there. They need to be compensated. Now, if you are running down the street and you happen to run into, who did we run into on the street?
It was guy who played Hatch.
But if you see them running on the street, you know,
Richard Hatch. We ran into Richard Hatch on the street.
I mean, we didn't do a selfie with him, but he did.
He just ran by us with a backpack on.
That was
like some random guy walking down Atlanta, but it was Apollo from Battlestar Galactica 1977.
So I'm sure he would have been fine.
Rest his soul. Richard Hatch passed away.
If you stopped him to say, hey, do you mind? Click.
Although he was moving pretty fast, so he probably had to be to the people aquarium to sign autographs. You never know. And also on Facebook groups, DragCon Facebook groups, they'll be like, hey, Richard Hatch is at the so-and-so bar down the street on Peachtree Avenue. And, so maybe go down there, share a drink with somebody. Who knows? And also each of the hotel has bars you can hang out.
Yeah.
All right? And there are celebrities, absolutely, who will, go out till the sun comes up. They're in the Marriott or the Hyatt or the Hilton.
Because they love the feeling too. They love the ambiance.
Absolutely.
They love the people. They love the party. They love the atmosphere. And I'll say it again. This is not a convention that you've been to before if you've never been to DragonCon. Because being, I think, in a hotel setting, it's very intimate. And it's different because when you're at a vendor floor, you're always going to be bothering somebody standing in their booth, standing near their booth, blocking somebody. There's traffic here and there. Whereas the hotels, those big empty spaces that when you check into like a Hyatt or a Marriott, there's those big open lobbies and everything, and it's huge. Well, imagine that lobby and it's completely filled with people. People, and with the people, their props. With the props, whatever home device that they have created.
How did they get it there?
We don't get it. We don't know. We think people drive from Canada with these massive costumes. And
just strapped to the roof of the cars.
I have no idea. But anyway, That's how crowded it is, but it's like a big happy setting of a bunch of strangers that are your best friends, and it's more intimate there, and nobody's rushing and pressuring you to buy that t-shirt or buy this or buy that. Tonight, I would have to say 10 times out of 10 they're going to be offering you some mystery drink in their drinking horn. Just go with it.
That's right. Careful, but go for it.
Should be stuff.
I'm sorry, we're rambling. Are you still here? So apparently my wife says we have to do a part 2.
Part 2.
So this is the end of part 1. At the sound of the tone, please turn over the record.
Ding! But like and subscribe and share, and stay tuned for part 2.
Yes, for part 2. And also like and subscribe and follow us, because we will be doing daily recaps from Dragon Con, and you just might see yourself in one of the videos.
Absolutely. So if you like what we've offered you so far and you want us to keep rambling, make a comment down
We
below.
did ramble a lot.
Ramble a lot. So,
All right,
all right, guys. I'm the witch.
And I'm the Jedi.
See you next time.
May the Force be with you.
And also with you.
Ugh, I hate that.